Right, so now we can really complete this little exercise by focusing on our final details, and that usually for me entails just looking at some highlights and lowlights. So I'm going to see what my painting needs on this side. I personally think we need to play here and there with a little bit of a highlight. So I'm using this number 5 liner that is nice and fine, and I'm diluting my paint that's been standing for a while just with a little bit of water, so to improve the fluidity of my paint. And I just want to see now where I can play with a little bit more detail to sort of bring out this whole vision that I had for this piece. So I'm just playfully adding a highlight. Forgive me. To these areas. Maybe they are the top knot of this umbrella, or maybe it's a flower, who knows? Whatever it is for you. I also think I want to play a little bit more, and I'm going to just bring in a little bit of details here and there. You can do this with a Posca pen as well. I just feel like adding a little bit more circle somewhere. Why not? It doesn't have to say something. It can just be decoration. But if you're going to add something, then you need to repeat it in order to give it that presence that you want it to have. I think I'm going to make a few dots on the other side. That might be interesting. Just adding another textural design element playfully. Quite liking that. Maybe we need a little bit of a highlight to bring some contrast out there as well. So it's really worth it to invest in a fine liner and to learn how to dilute your paint to improve the fluidity, so that when you do some line work, that it is not a frustrating exercise but rather very satisfying one. So this is definitely one of the brushes I will recommend you invest into for your kit, is, you know, a set of fine liners, because inevitably somewhere in your painting at some stage you're going to want to do some detail work, and then a bigger brush is just going to frustrate you. And I'm going to do the same with my black. So I'm just activating my paint again and improving the fluidity, because my paint has been standing a little bit, so it might be a little bit gunky. And maybe just in the opposite areas of this design, I will just clarify some of the darker areas. And in this way, we improve the contrast. I'm going to go ahead and do the same on the balloons. You can see now how all these little layers has added to the contrast and clarity of the piece. We're going to just improve that white reflection area a little bit more. Add a little dot there at the back, and I think here and there a little spot, a little sparkle won't do harm. That one was probably not the best idea, but it's okay. Coming back to my black now. Just want to improve the clarity here a little bit. Oops, there's too much water on my brush. So if that happens to you, don't stress, because your underlayers are dry. So then you can just easily pick it up with a tissue. And then I focus again that there's no drip on my brush. And just bring some clarity to the piece. Maybe. If your paint is really too globby and sticky, in the end it might just be worth it to just squeeze out a little bit of a fresh, just squeeze of paint. But I'm getting by here. So cute. Concentrating here on the line work. and being forgiving to myself if it's a little bit hard. Just going to add a few soft lines here, just imply. I think that line is not soft at all. It's just wipe that away. That's a bit better. So you see, you can always come in and save yourself. If you do something that you don't like, just immediately wipe it away. But now that I've added some black textural lines, I will do the same with a bit of white here and there. Why not? Just imply the round shape of the plastic. I think that's playful. And maybe here and there, just bring some of the highlights forward again. Maybe areas in the balloon that's now too dark for me, I will lighten again a little bit. So that all improves the clarity, the joy of this exercise. Let's maybe bring in some black dots into these white circles. Again, too much water on my brush causes it to drip or to run. So I'm just correcting that. Just bringing last details in that I feel can work. And I'm happy with that. So that is a very good introduction to mark making and texture. Obviously that is a subject all on its own that has a myriad applications and techniques and versions. So it really is a methodology and a technique that can take a lifetime to explore and master. But this certainly is a great and a fun introduction to this technique. So do please share your progress art and photographs with me on our Facebook group, The Creative Heart. That way we can continue to support you and assist you wherever you may need it. So I'm looking forward to seeing your photographs as well. And I will see you in our next class when we take this a step further.